that we found in London as part of our national talent search. And we put this song together, and wow, it just still blesses my soul. So I hope you're all good. I hope you're all ready to delve and share and conversate as we always do. So to begin with, first of all, please put a message in the chat group just to make sure that you can hear and see me, and I can hear and see, or at least know that you're there. All good, says Sharon. That's fantastic. Beautiful. Okay, cool. So welcome to another session. As I said, today or throughout this month, we're talking about spirituality. And for those of you who were able to join me last week, I shared the significance and the importance of this particular time that I am experiencing with you all. And I shared about the fact that exactly 10 years ago, this month, I made my yes to life. And by that, what I mean is that I believe that we all have our own connection with the Most High, and we all, at some point in time, know that there is a higher calling, a bigger purpose for us to do. And we often get caught up in just wanting to live our lives until there comes a point in time when you really just feel like you're compelled to say yes. And I've mentioned to you, I actually have a copy of the book with me this time, that it was as a result of me going to Ghana in 2010, where I met this lady, Deborah Johnson, who wrote this book, Your Deepest Intent. And in it, it's dated this 22nd of August, 2010. And she actually says, thank you for saying the sacred yes and be your deepest intent. I didn't know what the hell she was talking about, if I'll be honest with you, at the time. But within 11 months, I sure as hell knew exactly what she was referring to. And I found myself actually saying that sacred yes. And since then, my life has been, it's just been a blossoming of things that have just, in many respects, just amazed me and blown my mind. But really, more importantly, given me a clear sense of a vision, of my vision, and that vision has revealed my mission. And so for the last 10 years, that's really what my focus has been, totally. my mission to empower the lives of individuals so that they can have fulfilled lives, particularly those who are disadvantaged. Yes, I've been on that path for, as many of you know, many, many years. However, even though it's been decades, it's only in the last decade that I said that sacred yes and was so deeply convicted about it. And that's where I've seen the transformation. And so it's been a blessing, and it's been a great journey. Many of you know, I talked about it, and so I won't labor the point, but it inspired me to take some quiet time. And as a result of that quiet time and through that meditation, what I gained was the insight of what we now refer to as our brand D.A.D.A, which stands for Discover, Attitude, Develop, and Actualize. And then the Grow Personal Success, or the GPS thinking system. Why? Because at the root of all of this, the truth of the matter is, everyone, whether you're 6 or 66, everybody wants to be successful. But who teaches us how to define success on our terms? The school system has, for the most part, taught majority of us who have come from marginalized or disadvantaged backgrounds how to be workers. And this is what is now the thing that I'm coming against, that we all have the right to have visions and dreams and work towards realizing our vision of success. And so if that resonates with you, then this is what we stand for. This is what we're about. Those individuals who are serious about making their life stand for something. And so over the next few weeks, we are going to be really delving deep and looking at this from a spiritual perspective. What I mean by that is being able to perceive your vision with not the natural eyes, but another eye that allows you to perceive, get a glimpse, and then begin to move towards that vision through conviction. Yes, it's going to be difficult at times. Yes, it's going to be challenging at times, but it is your vision and a sense of mission that gives you the strength and the confidence. And so next week, we'll be talking and looking at this and expanding on it from the perspective of Sophia Stewart, the lady who was the original creator of the Matrix. And so we're going to break it down and show where she was coming from in her imagery and messaging, but also I'm going to give you the opportunity to listen to an exclusive interview that I did with her in 2016. Yeah, I'll go into it at the time, but I was blessed to be able to have that privilege. And you'll hear some of the things that she was saying. And then the following week, I'll be sharing again another exclusive webinar that I also staged back in 2016. It was a very powerful year with Michael Becker from The Secret. And he'll be talking about, or he was talking about, the new way of operating in this new season. And then finally, we will have Brother Ishmael, who will be talking about the way forward. Those of you who are part of our book study club, you know that we're studying that book, and boy, is it blowing people's minds. Many of the things and concepts that we've held dear, he has literally turned them on their head and given you the spiritual perspective, which when you hear it, you're like, well, that makes so much sense. Why have I never thought of it that way? But in addition to talking to us about the way forward, we'll also be breaking down with him the whole concept of what we now refer to as the new era of spirituality. You see, we're living in a new time, ladies and gentlemen. And the thing that's going to allow you not just to survive, but to thrive is, one, if you can capture your vision and two, if you can activate your faith so that you can begin your mission. And when you do, then life opens up in an amazing way. How do I know? Well, yes, it's been true for me personally, but I've been blessed over many decades, but particularly in the last decade, to see how transformational it can become when you're able to support someone to capture their vision and then have the faith, activate the faith so that they then can become clear about their mission, their purpose, their reason for being here on earth. And so, yes, it's very deep, but that's what we are, where we are deep. And it's time now for us to be able to be bold enough and to go deep and bring out the very best of ourselves. And so today, we are going to be blessed with five, I call them my angels, five people who have stepped up as a result of going on this journey where for a very long time they've had a sense or a glimpse of the fact that they were here to do something more than just live a mediocre life. And so life would have it that we've been able to connect. And through them doing their mind reset work with me, and also the Grow Personal Success program, which is something that they volunteered as a result of what they were able to discover through the mind reset program. They then decided, after doing another 3 months through the GPS mentoring program, it revealed to them a higher purpose, their higher purpose, and they have just stepped towards it. And I'm so privileged and honored that we're going to be sharing this evening with these lovely ladies. Why? Because this is what is required in our community. People who are serious in the sense that they truly care about making a difference. Some may call it the rise of the feminine energy. I believe that's what it is, that feminine energy of really caring to the point that you're prepared to take a risk, caring to the point that you're prepared to step out in faith, because it's not such a risk actually for you. It's you activating your faith. And so we're going to hear from these ladies. I'm going to bring them on individually, one by one, to share just a little bit of their individual story in terms of where they were coming from and where they are today and what their mission is. So you will get to know and you get to become familiar with them. And then at the end, we'll have a Q&A so that you can ask them some questions. So without any further ado, for those of you who are joining us for the first time, this session is in two parts. Part one is where we open up to everyone on social media. So if you're a guest on Facebook or you're on our YouTube channel, then you're very welcome. But around 9 o'clock, we go private, and that's when it is exclusively for our members, and we get to ask some deep and meaningful questions. And so if you'd like to join us, then you can join. We will put the link to join our membership. It is fee-based, but it's on a monthly basis. And I can guarantee you, for just over £10 a week, you are not going to get, you're not going to get the depth on spirituality that we're going to be sharing with you this month. You also have access to our archive material for the month. So they'll put a link in and you can activate that. So without any further ado, I would like to introduce our first lady of the evening. And I believe it is Suzette, but I hope that, let me see if I can just bring her on. and I am not seeing Suzette. So maybe sometimes she uses a different tab. So, Suzette, are you there? I believe that there's only one person who I can't see. So I'm going to add. Suzette, is that you? I'm going to put on Android because your name is not showing up. Okay, bear with me a moment, ladies and gentlemen, and let's see if we can deduce who this is. So I'm going to promote to panelist, and I hope that this is Suzette. Okay, perhaps not. Okay, right. So whilst we try and figure out why I can't see Suzette, I'm going to call Laura, because Laura I can see. Okay, so Laura, are you there? Okay, this is interesting. Are you there, Laura?
Hi, Tony. I'm here.
Hi. Okay, for a moment, I was like, where are my angels? Like, what's going
We're
on?
here. We're here.
Okay, so I, I think Suzette is using some incognito, like
She's normally under S7. Can you see an
phone
S7
that
there?
doesn't show her name. So if that is the case, Suzette, yeah, you're absolutely right. And guess what? Today, there is no S7.
Oh, okay.
So help us out, Suzette. Let us know your incognito. But in the meantime, so you're in the hot seat. How are you doing this evening?
I'm very well, thank you, Tony. Yes, I'm good.
Okay, so this is really going to be a really insightful evening, and I wanted to bring this evening together because I believe that there are a lot of people who are going to be able to relate with either your or some of the other stories that we're going to be sharing this evening, in the sense that we all have hopes and dreams and a sense of being more and becoming more, but perhaps not having the confidence or the direction. And so my hope is that in this new era of spirituality, those people who have been sitting on their visions will actually draw strength or encouragement or faith to act on their vision and turn it into to expand their mission. So tell us a little bit about your first and earliest memory of your vision, because you've been trying to get to this point for a long time.
Yes. So if I can just go right back to my earliest memory of when I realized that there was a higher being, higher power. I was about 6 years of age, Tony. And I remember feeling this huge sense of love all around me. And it was so beautiful that I couldn't even explain it to anyone. But there was just this, I just felt my whole being just come alive. And I then started the relationship with Jesus, because I went to a Catholic school and they started talking about the teachings of Jesus. So my relationship started on a religious background. And I must say that I was longing for more. I was searching because I was hungry to understand the meaning of life. As I grew up, I was growing up, and I've shared this before, that even though I had the love of God, I was still very insecure in who I was as a human, as a young woman, and I was searching for my purpose in life, and I didn't know what my purpose was. I knew I was here for a reason. I knew I was called, but I didn't know what my calling was. So
So
I
give us
kept
an idea. So was this in your early teens, late teens, or early 20s that you had this profound sense that you had a calling?
I was in my, I would say, late 20s, but
Okay.
I had always asked the question, why am I here? What's
Okay.
my purpose? From a young teenage, just trying to find myself in this world.
Okay.
Because, growing up as teenagers, we start to have an image of what we should look like, and we compare ourselves to other girls and other people. So when you don't fit in, you feel that you're not good enough, or people tell you you're not good enough, so you start believing it. And so
So that was your experience, was it?
absolutely, yes.
Okay.
I
So
wasn't good enough, I wasn't pretty enough. um I'm not going to amount to anything in life.
really,
That's
who was telling you that kind of stuff?
just people around me. But then, when I think back, they were coming from a place of pain themselves. So,
Yeah. And
so
as they say, hurt people, right?
absolutely, yes.
So you began this quest, as it were, because you got married, you
Hmm.
met an amazing man, and you settled down, and you began to start a family. But nevertheless, this sense of something missing was
Yes,
always still there.
it was always still there, because one of the things that I always pray, I asked God for my husband, because my prayers were answered. I prayed for my husband. I prayed for the type of man that I wanted. God delivered that. I prayed for my children and all the things that most women would want in their life. I received that. But when I got to 30, I was still unfulfilled. I was still unsatisfied with my life, because I felt that I'd achieved all those things, but I wanted more. There was a deeper calling, but I still didn't know what that deeper calling was.
Okay, so how and what steps, what happened to begin to give you a glimpse of the journey that you were to embark upon?
I started to pray, and I was asking God, show me what it is that you want me to do. You need to give me guidance as to where I need to go.
Okay, and so what
And
happened?
yeah, so I then went deeper into faith in my religion, because I thought that's where I needed. I knew I was. I knew I had to do service, but then I didn't know exactly where I was going. So I kept
Okay,
on just going deeper into the religion, asking the questions of, what am I doing? But I would pull back out of fear. Fear kept on pulling me back. So I just parked everything and just carried on with life.
as you do, right?
Yeah,
Thinking
yeah,
that
yeah. It's
and
fine.
it's really important. I know we don't have a lot of time, but
Yeah.
it's really important to tease out some salient points that you're making, in as much as many of us are faced with the similar kind of position that you were in,
Yes.
where on a deeper level, that there's something more, but fear creeps in and
Absolutely.
stops us. Fear
Yeah,
creates paralysis, stops
absolutely.
us from moving. So what caused you to be able to snap out of that fear and take action?
I wouldn't say I've actually totally snapped out of the fear, Tony, because
Okay.
if
Then
I'm
what caused you
honest,
to take a step? Because you
sorry,
definitely, so what caused you then, rather than parking it, what caused you to begin to take steps?
because I realized that there was more to life than what I was doing, and I knew that I wasn't fulfilled. There was a burning desire deep within me that just kept on coming through.
Yeah. So
And
what caused?
so I then started to seek answers. I started on this quest of who is Laura, find out the purpose of where I am. So I then started this journey of who am I? What am I here for? And I'm going back
And that
20
was
years.
that a questioning dialogue
Yes,
with yourself? Okay,
yes.
I get
Questioning
that.
who I am,
Okay.
what is my purpose, started to do the healing work on myself.
When you say started to, because what I'm trying to tease out is so that people who are listening can get a sense of, because there may be many people in this space. And when you
Mm.
say, I started to do the healing work, well, loads of people say, well, what was that actually like? What did you do?
It was about acknowledging the pain that I had experienced in the past, Tony, and
Okay.
learning to release, praying to God, asking for how do I heal the pain of the past? How do I and I was reading a particular book, and I've got the book with me right now, and it really did help me. The book is so old, it's called I Am With You. That was such a profound book for my healing. And by using that book, it actually helped me to understand the greater power of love that, and I just found that that was what I did in terms of finding the healing. And then I was ready to embark on finding you. Well, you found me, but then the journey
Yeah.
starts.
Or even life just hooked us up
Yeah,
through your son.
yeah,
And
yes.
that's an interesting point that you've made. So I want to just kind of tie it up because I think you've made up some really good points in the sense that before we can actually embark on our mission, we have to heal. We
Absolutely.
have to begin the process of healing. Only then can we really be of benefit to our
Mm,
community. And
absolutely.
so I mention that because so many people are wanting to be on their purpose and they're wanting to do things, or they're saying that they want to do things in the community and being of service. But the truth of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, in order to be of service, you have to do the healing work first. There's no shortcuts. And so if you are in that place and space, as Laura has said, it's about doing that healing work. And so you and I began to work, and through the blessing of your son who hooked us up, and we began over time. I mean, it took a couple of years before you were
Yeah.
ready,
Yeah.
but you then took that step and began to work together from a holistic mentoring coaching point of view, and just really introducing some different concepts, some spiritual principles to you,
Mhm.
and then begin that whole dialogue. And very quickly, I saw a blossoming and opening up of Laura. And what I expected to see that, to be fair, but what I found quite surprising was the speed with which you then found clarity about what you wanted to be your mission. So I'm mindful of time, but in a couple of minutes, could you just share what you have now found your mission, the thing that fires up in your belly every morning that you want to
Because
do?
of the experience that I had growing up, I've identified that there are so many women who experience the same low self-esteem that I've experienced, and they're still having that now, that they find it difficult to accept who they are. So I've been working with women to find that self-love and, to own their space in this world, because we are all, and one of the things that I've always said is that we are all made in the image and likeness of the Most High, and we are perfect in his eyes, her eyes. So it's accepting everything about us and just growing in that.
Beautiful. Wow. I'm loving it. I am so loving it. And, for me, I am just excited about what you are going to be doing, because I know the love that you're bringing and the difference that we're going to be making in our community. Because in this new era, it's about vision, identifying our mission, and improving to life, that we're serious, we're about this business. So thank you for that. Hold tight. I'm going to see if our Suzette is, if we can. So I'm going to promote two panelists, Android Blue Droid. Suzette, are you there? And it looks like we don't have Suzette today. Okay. All right. So whilst we're waiting for Suzette to fix whatever's going on there, Beverly, are you in the house? So let's see, Beverly. Okay, I'm going to promote you, Beverly. Are you there? Okay, Beverly, are you there?
I am, Tony.
Okay, cool. Wow, what's going on with you ladies today?
I am indeed. I'm here. Hi.
Okay. All right. So we are good. Thank you for showing up. It's really good to hear and see you. And so you heard me speaking to Laura, and I wanted to have the conversation with you because we've known each other now for quite some time. And as you heard the question being asked, I'd like to ask you the question. When was the earliest time that you could remember a glimpse of your vision?
I think very much like Laura. As a child, I became very aware of the fact that my purpose is to be a light, not always being the loudest, but being the light that just reflects love.
Okay.
And what that meant for me is it just meant very often just standing and being ready to serve from so many different angles.
Okay. So, but when we first met, when you first stepped up and wanted to embark on the GPS program in terms of mentoring and holistic mentoring and coaching, it wasn't so profound or pronounced. There was still some stuff that Beverly had to work through, right?
That's right. So when you and I met, I had just left, I'd had a 10-year career in banking, and I had just had a 23-year career with a charity. And I got up one day and just said, actually, spiritually, I have done everything that I was taken there to do, and actually I need to step forward. And we were introduced through a mutual friend of mine, and I came to do some work with you. But before I arrived at your door, I had already gotten up probably about a year or a year before that, and I had actually written a personal vision of what things would look like once I step fully into the work that I need to do. But just like you were just talking about with Laura, what came up for me in terms of what I'd written was very much about what people would be experiencing. And as I wrote it and I tried to speak to other mentors who just couldn't get what I was saying, what I was talking about. And recently we were out together at an event, and I read part of my vision out. And, you know, today I'm getting the spiritual essence that I should actually read part of it again, so that everybody gets where I was 10, 12 years ago, and we're just experiencing it now. And this is what I wrote. Beverly's vision grew to new heights and realization as she began to explore how the impact of low vibrations, such as low energy, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, worry, anxiety, stress, burnout, and depression in adults, which can happen at any stage in our lives, was causing a rippling effect on the children of the planet. Her work was to be part of that change, and that change came with self-healing and teaching others the art of doing the same and building new resilience. There is more. But the profound thing that happened to me last year is that in a conversation.
So that was your vision.
Mm-hmm. So, but last year in a conversation, so I'd taken myself through many stages of moving to the vision, but moving back, step into the vision, but moving back, hiding, stepping forward to the vision. And last year in a conversation, the word resilience was, I call it the universe, creator, God, calling me out. And somebody said they felt that I wasn't resilient. And in that moment, as I sat in that room, or sat in the room that I was in, I was saying, wow, your vision is telling you, higher being is telling you that it's time for you to step up and step out of a part-time job. You've been hiding yourself in part-time work since you were in your 30s, and actually you should have been on your purpose, on your vision. You need to step up. And so December last year, I left my part-time work to step forward with boldness, taking forward the wisdom that I've known from all the experiences that I've gone under. But actually, the beauty of the learning is, and this is just, I think, one of the things to share with everybody tonight is that we are going to be constantly healing. Healing sometimes, there is this illusion that it will happen overnight and we'll feel perfect, but actually we're constantly growing, we're constantly expanding, and so we will feel pain. but at the same time, we have to identify it as being part of our growth.
Absolutely. Wow. And so we connected last year at the same time after you'd done the GPS program. And I was quite surprised. I think it was early January. Now I understand what had gone on in the invitation. You just showed up and was like, I want to be part of the practitioners, the training program that will allow us to support you, to support others. And boy, has it been an amazing journey. And so now we can understand the context in terms of where you were all those years ago and where you are now. And equally, just like Laura's story, the same ingredients are required in terms of, yes, it'll be scary. Yes, it's going to be ups and downs. But yes, certainly, yes, you have to summon your faith and activate that faith based on your wisdom. Would you agree?
I totally would agree. And as you know, this week I have just been in an energy of understanding why I couldn't stay. The opportunity to be part of a book collaboration came to me in January. If I'd have been in my job, that opportunity wouldn't have presented itself, because I wouldn't have been where I needed to have been for that to have come to me. And this week has just been
tell us about that. So the book has just been launched this week, right?
That's right, on Wednesday.
Wow. And so for those people who might be interested in picking up a copy of the book, I mean, first of all, I just want to say congratulations. And wow, isn't that a classic illustration and demonstration? As you said, if you were still in that space in December and not having stepped out, this opportunity might well have passed you by. But here we are, right, as if the timing was synchronized. Your book, you're part of a collaborative project. The book comes out on Wednesday, and here we are promoting and celebrating you today. So tell us, I think you said yesterday that you had achieved some milestones. So can you share those with us?
Yes. So in terms of the book, it has gone to #1 on Amazon in 5. We're still waiting for the 6th category, in 5 categories. Now, what was tingling to the back of the neck was when you sent your message in terms of what this month is about, in terms of what we're going to be speaking about. And we have gone #1 in 3 categories which relate to spirituality. So, today I'm here and I'm just like overwhelmed. My mind is blowing, because this is exciting, as well as it being positioned as a book in terms of doing life and business your way. It's permission to do life and business your way. It hasn't just been picked up by the business categories. It's been picked up by business life, small business, entrepreneurism, but spirituality, because of the content that each of us has shared, it just takes us on the trajectory of the journey through spirituality.
Wow. That is amazing. So it just ties in with our whole theme for the month, as if we are all keying in and tuning in and tapping in to the same vibrational frequency that brought us into sync. Well, this is fantastic. Thank you for sharing. I'd like you to stick around, because we have some of your that we're going to bring on board, and I'm going to have some time with each of them and then bring you all together, and then we'll see where the journey goes from there. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, everyone.
Bev, hang tight. Now, I think we do have the infamous S7, are you in the house? Please come forward. Suzette. And okay, it looks like she's not showing up today.
Definitely here, Tony.
Suzette.
Technology is definitely.
Come on, girl.
Being difficult.
What's going on?
Right, but I'm here.
No, you're not here. We can't see you.
I'm not on mute.
Okay. All right. We got you now.
You can
Why
hear
are
me
you trying to make me work so hard?
I'm just
Like, what's going on? Like, okay. Well, you're here now. It's great. How you doing?
I'm doing good, apart from the technical hitches. We'll look into that later, but yeah, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine.
Fantastic. Well, so you've heard your sisters that have spoken before you. I wanted to bring you into the same space in terms of the vision and your mission. So without any further ado, let's just dive straight in. I mean, you've had this sense of being more for quite some time. When was your earliest memory of you wanting to make a bigger contribution than just existing?
It's interesting. I caught some of what, but there's a bit of echoing. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can, but yeah. I think we're good because I don't think we should touch. Yeah.
So I'm just making sure there's not too much echoing going on. So it started really with my experience of growing up in Jamaica, then coming here and seeing relationships between men and women, as in within the West Indian community, not going really well, particularly in my family. So I couldn't understand it. I felt, no, there's, this negativity about Black men. I didn't, it didn't resonate with me, but yet what I was seeing showed me that there was a lot of healing to be done. Okay. And that I didn't want to give up on our Black men. In terms of my spirituality, I went to church, but I don't feel that I was brought up as a strict Christian. So I went to church, but it wasn't until I became an adult that I started to feel the importance of having a faith and a spirituality because of how I wanted to raise my children. So, okay. Yeah, sorry.
Carry on.
Yeah. So that was where the spiritual journey started. I just need to check with you. I can hear a lot of echoing. Can you?
We can hear some echo, but it's not detracting from what.
It's not detracting. Saying. Okay, brilliant. Okay. So yes, I think my faith grew as I got older, and I think by the time I joined your program, Tony, I felt I had a really good relationship with source energy, God. And I'd also gone through some painful experiences that I felt God had helped me to heal from. But there was still a desire that there always was to find out how I could help Black men, because although I've had bad experiences with Black men and seen bad experiences within my family and friends and whatever, I still felt that as Black men, there's so much disadvantage, there's a lack of understanding. I still wanted to commit to be of support in terms of the growth of the Black man.
Now,
So,
when you told me that, I was blown away, because, you know, I had experienced so much in growing up, and witnessed so much around me for other Black men, where we just felt on many occasions completely victimized by our sisters. I mean, to the point, as you know, I actually recorded a song where I brought brothers from the community to make a statement on record that we appreciate and we understand, family. That was the extent to which I felt that, you know, someone had to stand up and champion the fact that there are good men out there. So when I heard your story and the fact that you were really committed, despite what you had witnessed, that's when we began to do the work and realize that actually that mission came from deep within your soul.
and the more I've worked within this society, the more I realize this is a spiritual, this is of God. I really feel that strongly more every day, in terms of, I now see that that was what I was meant to do. That was how I am meant to serve. And I'm totally committed to this journey now. And I think it's also because joining, I've seen the importance that you have put on spirituality and how it works with all the other pillars that you talk about in your book, how it's like a thread that goes through. So if you want success in your business, if you want success in your relationship, in your mental and emotional health, in your finances, it's not going to work well until you are grown spiritually. And that was one of the first things I recognized in joining, and knew that, in fact, I wanted to work on myself. So I've only been with you now, I would say about 18 months, but I have grown so much, particularly just working with you, but all the other people that's on this journey with me.
Wow, it's incredible. And you know, you're absolutely right. I totally concur. I think two things that I think I find really interesting, and then we'll pause and we'll bring on two remaining guests. But one, the fact that you're all speaking about spirituality, yet when I engaged with you on an individual basis, that was never the thrust of things.
Never, never.
But it's just become the overarching thread or
Yeah.
theme. And the second thing I wanted to make as a comment is something that Ishmael shared with me many, many years ago, and I now understand it more deeply in this new era of spirituality. He said, any personal development that does not include spirituality is incomplete. And I so get that now, and so believe that. So you can learn personal development and how to make money and all these different things, as you said. But if they're not going there where spirituality is concerned and showing you how that is the theme that must run through everything, it's incomplete. So thank you for sharing. We're going to have an opportunity for us to share some more, but I also want to say a very special thank you for standing up on behalf of the brothers. And you know, I'm with you 100%. We're going to do stuff. You've got some funding to do some work already within 3 months of starting the practitioner program. Yes. As if the universe is letting you know that.
Well, this is where I am.
This has been a long time, so hang tight, and we'll call you back soon.
Yeah.
Okay. And in the meantime, you might want to see if you can sort out that echo, but
I will.
Okay, cool. All right. So next, I would like to invite our dear sister, Shawnette. Are you there, Shawnette? This is interesting. Now, I know Shawnette's not going to give me trouble today. Nope, she's there. Hey, sister, soul sister, how you doing?
That's my brother. I'm doing well.
Okay, cool. So lovely to see you. Always got a beautiful smile. I was like, damn. Always happy. I suppose it's the expression of the soul. So it's been a very interesting journey for you. We met just over a year ago now. And from day one, even the way we met was, it was clear that it was of a higher order. And very quickly, I sensed and saw and realized that this is a woman who, she's been pursuing her vision, and her vision is trying to show us something, but there's been a lot of turbulence along the way, and so, there's been many turns along the way. And so us working together on the GPS program was really to help you get clear on some of those things. So I would like to start off by asking you that question, as I've asked the other ladies. When was the earliest memory for you that Shawnette was here to do something more than just work a 9 to 5?
Honest, the sense was there, but I was all over the place. So
Yeah.
I couldn't say, I couldn't pinpoint the exact time, but I knew because my Heavenly Father speaks to me. He speaks through me. But because of all the confusion, sometimes I defer, sometimes I'm so confused. So being with you in our communication and gaining through you, from you, I got to be censored.
Yeah, I think it
That
was
makes
quite a
sense.
big, I think it was quite a big, when you decided that, can we do some mentoring and coaching together? And it gave us the opportunity to focus on Shawnette for the first time in your life. Or is
Showing it
that
is
too
for
big a
everybody
statement?
else. Showing
Right.
it is for everybody else.
Yeah. So when I say that, I mean it. It was for the first time in your life that we were able to say, no, stop. We're not doing that. It's all about Shawnette. And let's start right back from the beginning. And it brought up some stuff. Yeah. But in bringing up that stuff, you were able to process it. And as a result, purge and heal off of those things that no longer served you. And as a result of that, it's like when we get rid of the mess, then we can see the message that life is trying to give you through your vision. And I mean, your life has blossomed in so many ways, right? That's the question.
Yes, it has. In many areas, spiritually, emotionally, and with those coming together, everything else came together. I can say financially, that came together as well because my mind was, how should I put it, cleared now. It was clear of all the confusion, the
Yeah.
uncertainties,
So
the
so you could go and make some money, like
Yeah, man.
yeah,
The boss lady, the boss lady.
a boss lady, and show up in your brand new car. I'm like, okay, all right. So that's what happens when we get clarity. I hear you.
And it helped my relationship with my children as well. And that's one of the things I really hold dear.
Yeah.
Because as you said, I wasn't paying attention to Shawnette. So when it came to meditating, when it came to just locking off, and no, that's scary. That was scary. But then starting, yes, I'm now enjoying it.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And through that process, there's also been a degree of self-discovery in terms of what you want, what you believe your mission is. Now, we're at the very early stages because you've only just last month started the trainee practitioners program. But what would you say if to our listeners and our audience, what do you believe that your mission is?
I believe that through my life experience in relationships and meeting other people, my mission is to help people on the whole, men and women, going through their relationships with their party, their children, overall, just to be an encouraging voice in their lives. Show them that Sean, it has been there, done that, and I'm still standing with a broad smile. And it's a true smile. It's coming from the heart. It's not a fake one, because I've
Okay.
been there.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say, and I just want to expound on it a little bit so that people can really understand. So as we are not really, we're not, none of us have come to know each other on the basis of preaching or holding a Bible. Like we're just ordinary people. But in this new era of spirituality, that's the point. I believe the Most High is just going to call ordinary people, people who've messed up sometimes, maybe messed up many times, but actually use that mess to convey the message. And I believe that's what you're saying, Shauna, that there's so much stuff that's going on with you, but you're aware now that that story, your story, you want to use to inspire other people to say, this happened to me. And I was able to take the lesson and move on and still be standing, but actually even grow as a result of that learning. Is that right?
Exactly. Exactly. Well
Wow.
said. Well said.
Yeah. Well, I had to expound on it because I know your heart, and I don't want anyone to miss the opportunity in terms of what you stand for. Let's be true that in the old paradigm, and I'm not knocking anyone from any religious background, but the thing about religion I often found is that many people would come across with that kind of holier than thou kind of image. Yeah. And so for many people that are coming from the road, coming from the street, coming from, all kind of places, you couldn't connect with that. What we're bringing in Soul Family is the realness to say, look, you can hear my story, hear our story. And if there's any piece that you can glean from it that you can use by way of experience so that you don't have to go through what I went through, then it's all well and good. And I think that that is amazing.
With
Yeah.
religion, the difference between religion and spirituality, religion stifles you, and it makes you feel as if you cannot step forward,
Wow.
sadly. Yes,
Wow.
because if you try to step forward in a certain way, ooh, you, you're the biggest sinner.
Yeah.
And who wants to be a sinner?
I hear you.
We're all sinners. The Bible says
Right.
we've sinned and fallen short of the glory of God, but we don't need to have it stabbing at us.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Well, you know, we are definitely bringing a new era of spirituality, a new era of being able to connect and help people. And ultimately, that's what it should be about, supporting people to help them. And each of you have your own experiences. And so therefore, in a sense, have become experts in your own field. And that is really what I love about what we're bringing. So hang tight. I'm going to bring on your dear sister, our final guest, and then I'm going to bring everyone back on camera. And wow, then we're going to open up for some questions. I know we're running over time, but I think it's definitely worth bringing all the ladies back together so we can have a final conversation. So, all right, Shawnette, hang tight. Miss Sharon Douglas, are you in the house? Last but not least, where are you?
Hello,
Sharon.
hello. Hi.
Hey, I kind of saw you and then you disappeared. Are you back?
Okay, wait. Oh, hang on a second. It's saying, there we go. How's that? There we go.
Okay, all right. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, all right. You're looking very well. So waiting patiently, and wow, I'm seeing so much smiles today on camera. It's like, it's great. Really glad for you to join us. Really happy. I mean, I must be the luckiest guy in town. Like, all these lovely ladies who are spiritually empowered, who's gonna be making a difference on the planet. And I get to interview you all. It's just amazing. So the lady who has just had a meteoric transformation, I can only put it down to that because it's been in such a short space of time. But I know that that can only happen as a result of something that's been buried deep inside of Sharon for a long time.
Yeah.
And so I want to start off by asking that question. Do you have, and if you do, what is the earliest memory that you had that your life was more than just having a good job and, you know, having a family?
You know what? Because I was listening to the other ladies, my sisters, sort of recounting their experience. And in truth, I was born with asthma. So for the first year of my life, I was actually in an incubator. So, and I feel right from the outset, I was being taught how to exist, how to breathe in the world, and how to challenge adversity, if you like.
Okay, and that's interesting because that's your word of power, isn't it? Breathe.
Breathe.
The thing that we all take for granted.
Yeah.
That is your word of power. Okay.
It is.
All right.
And through dealing with asthma, because to me, from a very young age as well, and that's where the spirituality starts to seep in. From a very young age, I knew that the total medication that I was prescribed, I didn't want to take. It didn't seem to have any significant purpose except for maybe one or two medications that they prescribed for me. So in my awareness of that, I began to say to myself, I have this illness, but it's not who I am. It's just something that's sort of come as part of the parcel. And in saying that, I was very athletic, and the breathing, when an episode, if you like, started to come on, the breathing is what helped me to calm everything down, get centered, and continue with whatever it is I needed to do. It never defined me. It was just something that I had. And the reason why I start from that position is that I internally knew that I was being guided by something other than, and I will leave it there, other than, because I didn't have a name for it. I really didn't.
Right.
But I knew that I was being guided, I was being helped, I was being supported. So from a very young age, I would say, but I couldn't name it at that time.
Wow. And this is the common thread that I was hoping would come out with each of you sharing your story, because I actually believe that this essence, this thing, this indescribable thing that you all have made reference to, I believe it is, it was and is the nurturing energy of the feminine energy.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Supporting, those are the of the feminine energy. And what is so beautiful to observe, as you know, for the last 8 of the feminine energy. And for me, sitting back, say that again.
Sorry, no, I didn't say anything. Sorry.
Can you hear me, or have I frozen?
It's freezing a little bit. It's stuttering a little bit, the connection.
Oh, goodness. Yeah. What I'm seeing is the rise of that feminine energy actually blossoming through each of you. And I'm like, wow, not only is it blossoming through each of you in terms of us being able to connect and the healing process that you've all gone through, but each of you now have identified an area that you want to specialize in, where Sean and yourself are concerned, because you have only recently, just last month, joined the program. We are still defining, but the point is that your message, in yours in particular, is really resonating with a bunch of people. You know, my marketing team decided to put a Facebook campaign out, and you know, to date, in the last couple of months, I think it's been viewed by over 12, 13,000 people, which I know for you is like, oh my God, you didn't sign up for this. Importantly, it looks like life knows what it wants to do, and life wants to get that message through you out to so many women who may be in a similar place, where through previous relationships or through previous life events, just find oneself in a space that isn't great.
Yeah.
And they can connect with it. And I truly believe that that's why we've had so many people resonate with it. And so if they can connect with you on that level energetically, then that means they're open and they can hear from you, where you speak about what you've gone through and how you've transformed. So in your own words, what would you say that you think your mission is revealing itself to you as?
Well, I have been challenged on quite a few levels. I've been judged, and without any form of communication other than being seen, and people coming up with their own conclusions without even having a conversation. And that was tough. That was really tough, particularly through my teenage years. So I, not wholly dissimilar to Laura, was judging, trying to find who I am, trying to connect with who I actually was, and accepting me for who I am, as opposed to being apologetic for existing. it really did run quite deep. So I feel that I would be able to support people with communication, with hearing and listening, not prejudging, because as a defense mechanism because of what I went through, I had some challenges with some relationships that I've had. And I've misjudged people, quite frankly, I really have. But I've learned to listen, I've learned to engage on the level at which we are having a conversation, as opposed to preempting things that may have been said or gone before. And I feel that a lot of people can connect with that. And it all coexists with the fact that you need to take a breath. Don't react, respond.
Yeah, that's a big message. That's a big message. And I'm loving this. You know, I'm just listening to you, and I think you're going to find your voice, because in our community, that is something that we just have to learn to do, to learn to respond as opposed to reacting. And it goes through every area of our community, whether it be in relationships, man and woman, siblings, parenting, in our relationship with our children. I truly believe that your message is going to resonate with so many people if they would only be open to recognizing that in this new era of spirituality, it is not just about hearing, but hearing deeply so that you're understanding. And so I'm excited about what this is going to be doing in our community, because I, as a visionary, am seeing the manifestation, the actualization of a vision that I have held for over 30 years, and it's coming to fruition in the form of you ladies. So I know we're supposed to be done by about 9 o'clock, but you know what? I feel that this is such a special evening. I think I'm going to bless Facebook, our Facebook community, and our YouTube community by allowing you all to stick around for 10 minutes. I may get some slack for it afterwards, but I really think that this is an important session. So with that said, ladies, can you please all come back on the screen? Wow, this is going to be like amazing. Oh my days, this is great. And so we are going to, at this point, allow our members, if you have any noise in the background, ladies, if you can turn it down, because we got some.
Blue Boyd.
Okay, cool. We're good. It's all good. And so now what I'd like to do is open up the floor to see if there's any questions. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box. I mean, I won't be able to pick up from Facebook or YouTube, because, but certainly for our members, if you have a question, please put it in the group. I would like to ask a question whilst people are getting their thoughts together. Beverly, can you please share the title of your book? Because I know there's a bunch of people that want to go out and support and buy your book.
Hi, everybody. So the title of the book is called Permission to Do Life and Business Your Way.
And what a title. Permission to do life and business your way. You see, and what I love about that title is majority of people have got it the wrong way round. They think that you're supposed to go get that money first or set up that business first. But those of us who understand what time it is in the new era of spirituality know that doing life is expressing who you are, your essence. And that is expressing who you have been fashioned to be by the Creator that must always come first. When we have, in a few weeks, when we tune into Michael Beckwith's message, he will break it down even further to show you that your primary objective is to be on your mission and let your business be incorporated into that. But we'll leave that for now. So if you can also put it in the chat so that in case anyone missed it, they have it there. Let's support. And wow, the fact that it's just come out this week, which keys in so beautifully with us being here today, it's amazing. You must feel good.
Yeah, I feel, really, really, really blessed. And I just can't even begin to put all the other descriptions onto it. Really, really blessed and really, really humbled for the fact that in the writing, so I say this to anybody, it's been on my vision for the 10 years that I'd written it. I want to write a book, but I would say that was a healing process and of itself. It was, floods of tears, all kinds of emotions, all kinds of healing, because you have to decide which bits you want to tell. But actually, you find yourself putting it all down. It might not all be used now, but you've got it there.
Wow, that's so deep. And I'm gonna share, for the last 7 years, I have had a vision of my second book. And the second book, but I had to wait for the ladies to show up. The second book is gonna be with each of you having a chapter in the book telling yours. That's what's coming down the track. And they're all like, oh my God. It's okay, Sharon, you can breathe, because you look like you stopped breathing then. The whole idea is that we have to have big visions, and a vision has to scare you sometimes. But that's how we get to activate our faith. And I truly know and believe that the more that people are brave and bold and activate their faith and share their story, the more we are going to bring healing en masse in our community, and therefore transform our community, which means that each of you will play a major part in that healing process. And we all know that that brings blessings with it. So someone has just written, someone's couple of comments. It's been nice listening to all your stories. I agree with Bev. Healing does not happen at once. It's a journey. So true. And then I have a question that says, how did you manage unexpected challenges? Pick yourself up and dust yourself off. Who would like to answer that?
I think I'd answer that. I think tonight's been a challenge with technology, but one of the things starting this journey has done for me, it's made me realize that you can actually get through most things in life. The more you tune into yourself and who you are, you realize that there's very few challenges that you cannot overcome. I have, since starting this journey, found so much space within myself to deal with things. And I really do put it down to the people I've met that have helped me in terms of meditation, and knowing that by tuning in and being rather than constantly be about the doing, there's very few challenges that I won't be able to face.
And I think it's important to express that really has come about as a result of the transformation that has occurred
You're freezing a bit.
Because the old Suzette, perhaps, because I think the question that's being asked is really, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear now, but I missed
Okay,
most
all
of it.
right.
I
How
heard
about now? We're
old
good?
Suzette, and that's all.
Okay. So, I'll come again. The point I was making is, I think the question is coming from the point of view that each of you sharing your story is incredibly inspiring and inspiring and empowering. And I think that's where the question is coming from in terms of, we all know that challenges come. However, what I would like to say as someone who's been able to work with each of you is that there has come a point in your journey where that healing has taken place and a transformation has occurred in your mind and in your heart. And it's as a result of when you get to that point of transformation, now you have an expanded conscious awareness and everything seems, I can do this. But it's in that order. So it's first of all activating the faith, saying that I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to take action, invest in myself, and go on this journey. And then as a result of going on this journey for self-healing, come to a point where that transformation occurs. And then you're a new creation, literally. And in that new space, you're able to handle all things. So I've expanded it, but as I say, I've expanded it because I think that is where the person is coming from.
And I agree with you. I think it's good that you expanded it. But what I think I'm saying is that through going through the process on this program, I have made those decisions to do the hard work on myself. And without doing that, some of the challenges of experience on the journey, I would have found much more difficult. Now, I just know that I have the space for it, really.
Absolutely. And that really ties into what I was saying at the very start of today's show, when I was saying that 10 years ago for me, I got to a place where I had to say that sacred yes. Well, I believe that each of you have all done the same thing. And it's when you do that sacred yes and say, I'm committing to my vision, when you make that decision, something happens and you immediately experience an expansion. And that's what I believe has come across, even though you've all got different stories, but it's the same thing that people are seeing, which I knew would happen. But when we bring it all together, it is so like, wow, I want some of that. So thank you for sharing. And Sharon, you had your hand up. Did you want to add to that?
Well, well, you more or less summed it up, to be fair. What I was going to say to the question is that it was exactly that. I learned through going through this process on how to reframe the experiences that I'd gone through and look at them through a different lens, if you like.
Yeah.
And in doing that, it enabled me to release some baggage, sort of luggage that I was carrying around.
I like that one.
Very deep.
Luggage, you know. Like,
absolutely. It was weighing deep. It was weighing heavily, and it was buried deep. Now, because it was buried deep, I felt, or I thought, that I had dealt with it. I hadn't. I had to face it. I had to acknowledge how I was viewing it, and then I did the work. And that's how I could pick myself up, dust myself off, and know, as Suzette has said, it's going to be all right. I can deal with this.
And I think I'm just going to add to that, because definitely it's the major challenges. But what the program has helped to all the challenges. You know, you realize that you have space for it because you release, but it is also doing that work on yourself. I think that's the main part.
100%.
And that's what I've got through this program, definitely. And
Yeah, it's in the faith of knowing that you're growing as well.
Yes,
you know, it just let it go. Yeah,
Definitely let it go. And I think it also speaks to the incredible space that we've created here in the Soul family. In that, yes, there is mentoring and coaching going on at different levels. So yes, I've had the privilege of working with each of you, but at the same time, the way we have structured things is that there's support going on, there's mentoring, coaching, buddying, peering going on within the community. And all of those things we shouldn't take for granted, because they all add up to creating this safe space, this safe environment, which, well, when you don't have it, you know what that feels like, the lonely road. You know, speaking to Shawnette, when she was telling me that she'd been in this country for many years, coming in from Jamaica, but for many years, it was just her and her children. It's something completely different when you can now hook up. And I see the two of you, Sharon and Shawnette, and it like can't separate you. It's beautiful. It brings the energy. It brings a vibration. It brings a sense of peace. So many things on a deep level, on a spiritual level. And this is what we're bringing up. Not religion, but energy. Energy. How we raise the vibration of our energy so that we can operate on a higher frequency. A higher frequency that shows itself in smiles, beaming. You just can't help yourself because you're loving life and life is loving you. And that's really what it's about. So I hope that people have felt the love from each of you. Is there any parting comment that, in fact, let's do that, because I see that our audience is just in awe of all of you. So how about we bring it to a close with each of you sharing your parting message that you'd like to leave our audience with tonight. So Shawnette has got her hand up straight away. Over to you.
A scripture that comes to mind where it says, He never gives us more than we can bear. And always remember that no matter what the challenge may be, it didn't come to break you, it came to make you. So keep that in the back of your head. No matter what you're going through, it didn't come to break you, but to make you.
Wow. Thank you for that. Much love. So let's hand it over to your sister, Sharon. Take it away.
I was just about to put up my hand. Isn't that amazing? In synchronicity.
Isn't it?
Yes, I would like to say that let not others define you, and acknowledge yourself. Step forward as your true whole being. Wow. You are so worth it, basically, you know? Yeah. You deserve more, much more.
Thank you. A woman of few words. Thank you. Okay, Suzette.
I don't think I can leave this evening without mentioning conscious awareness. So for me, I was always aware of the word, but joining this program, it's taken on another understanding, another level for me. I have grown to the point that I feel a sense of freedom that I don't think I've ever felt. And getting to know me again, almost, I think is the word I would use. And it is the community as well. It's obviously the work I've done with you, Tony, it's such a short space of time helping me to identify the vision. But the growth has come, as I've mentioned before, through the spirituality and realizing the importance of working with those pillars. And I actually met with one of our sisters that's not on the panel tonight this week, and she was just in such a good place. And she said, do you know why this is really good? You're on the same journey. So you understand where I'm coming from and why this spirituality is so important to me in order to help me to build my business, in order to keep me physically fit. And it went on. And it just was like, I sat there and I was like, wow. And I hope I'm making sense, but I think it's around just being consciously aware of all those things and the importance of them working together to make us successful in business, with all that. Anyway, that's me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so Laura, to you, please.
I would say trust God, trust life. God made all of us in the image and likeness of himself, herself. And when we understand the true essence of who we are, we can do all things through him. And it's just having that belief to take that first step. That seed, the mustard seed, just that first little seed, and we plant that vision. And once we plant it and we nurture that, it surely will grow. And it will blossom into what you want it to be.
Wow, thank you so much. So last but not least, Beverly.
So what I want to leave you all with tonight, first of all, is a question. And it's, how should I live? Ask yourself, continue to ask yourself that question as you travel on your journey. But what I also say is, make the decision to grant yourself permission to stop settling and do yourself justice.
Wow, thank you. This has been a wonderful evening, and so now you understand why we couldn't shortchange our audience. We had to let the whole recording go out this evening so that they could see the collective energy. For me, I'd like to say thank you to each of you, not only for being here this evening, but for each of you saying the sacred yes to life with all of the challenges, the fears, the anxieties that it requires. Because you have to go through all of those emotions and all of those feelings, because then you have to prove to life that you're serious, that you're about this business. And so because I took that step 10 years ago, I know what it's like. And each of us get challenged in exactly the same way. So no one gets an easy road. We all have to confront these things. But I want to say a big thank you to all of you, because I have not thought that we would be having this kind of a discussion where there are a group of women who have lived life, had experiences, and now with their focus on spirituality, use that as a healing balm to not only heal yourselves, but now wanting to heal the community. And like I say, look at me on camera. just look at me on camera. You all make me look good, surrounded by all of these beautiful women. This is great. But on a serious note, imagine how this will be viewed, where through this great conversation with a spirit of peace, love, and harmony, male and female energy can come and have conversation. And it's not about anyone trying to suppress anyone, but we're all lifting each other up. You see, you are all visionaries, and this is why you have caught your vision and used your vision to help you gain a sense of your mission. But not everybody's like that. And so for many people, this demonstration of what has taken place tonight will become their vision, that they will want to become like one of you or some of you. You've been able to inspire. And equally for men and women within our community, the way that we have been able to be support of each other. It's been great to hear you speak about the journey that we've been on together individually and how I've been able to help you. But I also have to say that it has equally been a blessing for me personally. And again, this is what we want to demonstrate, that when we are working with this conscious awareness of this new era of spirituality, then we will be able to truly support each other. And we'll know because we'll lift each other up. And when we do, we have to acknowledge it. As I've had to say to you on occasion, Sean, that even whilst we're in our session, you know what? Even though we're having a session and it's your session, I have to say, I've been blessed by this. And I've said it, I think I've said it to all of you, because it's not about us. It's about the conscious awareness that we're dawned with and the energy that's flowing through us. That is what is the new era of spirituality. So thank you so much, ladies. It's been great. If any of you would like to make contact with any of the ladies, then simply take their first name and add @Grow Personal Success. In Sean, in Suzette's case, it's not, well, the names appear on the screen, but it's not S7 in her case. It's Suzette @Grow Personal Success. She's just being difficult, as she likes to be sometimes. But for all the others, you've got their names on screen, and then just add @growpersonalsuccess.com, and that will send an email directly to them, and then they will begin to have a conversation with you and share. If you are interested, each of these ladies are offering a MINDreSET course, which is a 90-day challenge where you get to do a mind reset, but also be supported by, you have the opportunity to experience for 90 days all of the things that they've spoken about: the community, the conscious awareness, the love, the mentoring, the coaching, the family, the soul family that we have. So on that note, it remains for me simply to say thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've been inspired by tonight. And it's me, Tony D.A.D.A, your soul brother from another mother, saying enough love, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.